India undergoing metamorphosis. As all of us would acknowledge, India has a good mix of both public and private banks under the umbrella of the Reserve Bank of India, which provides stability and growth to the economy. Banking is the single most dominant sector when it comes to the financial system as a whole, but at the same time, it is facing some landmark transformations which would require the constituent banks to brace up to the task at hand. Policy guidelines on new banking licenses and the wholly owned subsidiary model of banking for foreign banks may have path-breaking implications. This session aims to explore what the banks need to do in such an environment to fuel growth in the economy. Taking the session forward, on these thoughts, I would like to welcome the eminent panel of speakers for this session and kindly request them to join me on the dais as I introduce them to the delegates. Mr. M.V. Tangsale. Mr. M.V. Tangsale is presently the Chairman and Managing Director, Central Bank of India. Prior to his current assignment, Mr. Tangsale has also served as the Executive Director of Punjab National Bank and as the General Manager, Union Bank of India. He is backed by professional credentials like Associate Member of the ICWA, Company Secretary Inter of the ICSI, CAIIB, a bachelor's degree in science, and a master's degree in English literature. A visionary banker for a span of more than 36 years, it is only apt that Mr. Tangsale would be sharing his viewpoint on the consolidation in the banking space in the country. Sir, if you could please come up to the dais. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Rajat Madhok. Mr. Rajat Madhok is the Managing Director and Head of Commercial Banking, Citibank. Mr. Madhok completed his Masters in Marketing Science from University of Bombay and has been working with the Citibank since 1996. He has served as a relationship manager in the corporate bank division throughout his career and has excelled in different parts of the country that he has worked in. Mr. Madhok would share with us his views on the impact of RBI guidelines on the WOS or the wholly owned subsidiary model for foreign banks in India. We would like to welcome you, sir, onto the stage. Next, we have Mr. M.K. Datar. Mr. M.K. Datar is currently the Chief General Manager, Risk Department at IDBI. He has been associated with IDBI since 1983, most of this period in its Research and Planning Department. An MA in Economics, Mr. Datar received the RBI Endowment PhD Scholarship at the Department of Economics, University of Mumbai during 1977 to 81. He completed his PhD in Economics in 1982 and has authored several papers for various periodicals and journals. Before joining IDBI, he has also taught undergraduate courses in economics as a lecturer. Mr. Datar would today be enlightening us on one of his areas of expertise, Basel norms, and its implications for the banking sector. Sir, I would request you to please join us on the stage. And finally, we have with us Mr. Shanmugam. Dr. V. Shanmugam is the Chief Economist at MCX Stock Exchange Private Limited, Mumbai. As the Head of Research, he is responsible for analysis of market data and trends and informing the participants, regulators, and policymakers of the same, as well as the benefits of currency hedging. He has earlier been the Chief Economist of the Multi-Commodity Exchange of India Limited and also the Head of Economic Analysis and Publications Division. Over the years, Dr. Shanmugam has contributed a large number of research papers, analyses, articles, etc. on a wide range of subjects in publications of international and national repute. Today, he would be sharing with us his views on how capital markets could be broad-based on financial inclusion through the banking channel. Sir, we would request you to kindly join us on the stage. I would now like to request Mr. M.V. Tangsale to kindly take off the proceedings from here.
Presentation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. It's indeed a privilege to be a part of this symposium. My sincere thanks to Mr. Chacko, the organizer of the symposium, I think the Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The morning session has been really very, very rewarding and has set a tone where none other than Governor Reserve Bank of India has apprised us about the various reforms and the challenges. Let me admit that as he was referring to the relationship, I am very privileged that Central Bank of India happens to be a banker for IFT, and we feel that it's an honor to us, sir. Thank you. I must also apprise that way back in 81, 82, I had the privilege to be in a district Riva as a branch manager for Union Bank of India, where Mr. Chacko used to be district collector. Thank you, sir. It's I'm sure the delegates, my students, they know that the subject of consolidation is being talked about for over a decade. And I think we are in a very competitive scenario. We are in a totally deregulated environment. The technology is probably at its best in the country, and the financial distress or bankruptcies are not seen. So whatever mergers have happened so far have been only under the financial distress or bankruptcies. Well, the advantages of the consolidations are known to everyone, that it really offers you a wider geographical coverage, particularly when you are talking about the financial inclusion today. I think the earlier speaker have expressed, one of the speaker did say that the commercial bank or the public sector banks are taking as an obligation and not as an opportunity. I think I will like to make a correction that all the public sector banks and the other private sector banks are looking at this as a real commercial proposition and a business opportunity, and we are extensively working towards that. And there where definitely your wider geographical coverage will be of importance. Of course, it offers you a large commercial customer base, it increases the efficiency through economies of scale, product mix, diversion, better brand image, so on and so forth. Well, when we talk of a consolidation, we should have a quick look at that. Where do we stand in terms of size of the banks? And whenever it is being debated, we have a comparison of the Chinese bank. There are 4 Chinese banks which are among the first 10 banks of the globe. And I think we have only one bank to be reckoned with, which is among the first 100 is the State Bank of India. And I think all other banks we are just following. Of course, we could be part of the banking scene in the country, but not globally. I think why merger is really required in India. I think all of us realize that we need a big capital for the growth. You all have seen the challenges, whether it is a financial inclusion, whether it is a infrastructure lending, whether it is depending of the financial sector, whatever it is. I think you need a real big capital. You need a risk-taking capacity. When our own corporates are going global, we need a banking sector which can support them. Okay, don't worry. Go ahead, we will support you. But then if a corporate has to depend on 5, 6 small banks and pull up whether I can really get a support, I think he loses the opportunity. But there are banks of the size who can say, okay, go ahead, $1 billion, doesn't matter. We are with you. I think that kind of a thing is really required, because particularly when our corporate is going global, I think the banking sector has to support them to grow further. I think the global experiences on the consolidations are many. When you look at the figures, that with every reformation, probably in every country, the consolidation has happened, whether it is Europe, USA, or even the Asian countries like Malaysia and Bangkok. The consolidation has happened and the number of banks have reduced in numbers, but number of banks have increased in sizes. Of course, when you talk of the mergers, it has to be necessarily, I feel, a voluntary. And there where, I think, if you recall, the Government of India, the Ministry of Finance has been saying that we want the board-driven mergers. Everyone when talks of the mergers or consolidation, we do say that it should not be seen only as one strong and one weak. I think there is a necessity for two strongs to get along and get synergized. And there where I think the voluntary mergers will make a difference. I think there are a couple of examples in the country. But the examples of voluntary are less. The examples of the state-led bailouts are many. And I think the biggest such example was Punjab National Bank and New Bank of India. Two public sector banks merger. It is the only merger which has happened post-nationalization of two public sector banks. The two huge banks, but I think it had its own repercussions, its own ramifications for a long, even today. Well, as I said, there have been more of a forced mergers, very less of a voluntary mergers, and few are only convergence driven. But there are merger-related issues. This is very, very important to be seen, that whenever you talk of consolidation, whether the mergers and the consolidation can really have a synergy. I think the issues get stressed on the branch rationalization. Quite often, when you talk of consolidation mergers, there are resistance coming from the various trade unions, that they feel that with that probably the employment opportunities will reduce in the banking industry. I don't think that the employment opportunities in the banking industry have ever reduced. Even with consolidation, even with technology, if you really look at the number, probably the numbers have grown. And when you look at the present scenario of the recruitment, of course, one is it is a compulsion on account of the heavy retirements or the superannuations in the banking industry. But on the other side, banking industry have realized, because the banking has not remained only a sheer banking of deposit taking or lending. The banking has become a financial conglomerate, it's a financial supermarket where a complete range of financial services products are being offered to the customers. It has become a solution providers rather than only a service providers. And thus, I think when you talk of the technology integration, yes, there are issues, because there are, as you heard from the governor, that all the banks have gone into core banking, but there are various service providers. There is the Finacle coming from Infosys, there is a program from TCS, there is a FlexCube from maybe Oracle or iFlex. So banks are working on different platforms, and I think a huge investment has gone into technology. So when you talk of a consolidation, I think that will be one of the determinant. Of course, the banks who are on the same platform probably find it easy. It will definitely find a synergy. But if the banks working on two different platforms, if they think of a consolidation, I think it's going to entail a huge, huge cost. So thus, banks, wherever the voluntary initiatives are going to be taken, I think technology will be one of the important driver which will decide. As regard the HR issues are concerned, I think every organization has its own culture. And thus it becomes very difficult when the two organizations merge, they get consolidated. Some organization may be financially strong, even if they are equal in a market scenario today, particularly when the banks are all listed companies. the perception about each bank is different in the market. And when the two banks merge, the employees get together, I think there is always a feel whether I am a secondary citizen or I am an important citizen. I think those issues needs to be addressed before you decide on the consolidation. When I talked about Punjab National Bank and New Bank of India, I had that in mind because instantly I come from Punjab National Bank after my 2 years plus tenure as executive director. Till today, you feel somewhere in the corner people feel, oh, he's from New Bank of India or I am from New Bank of India. I think those kind of HR related issues have to be addressed. I think there is one more issue which needs to be looked into from a listed company point of view, is that the share value. The shareholders of a strong company, the shareholders of a little bigger company, I think both of them will have an issue. The advantage will go to the shareholders of a weaker company, and it will be a temporary disadvantage to the shareholders of a little stronger company. So these kind of issues probably will have to be straightened out. The systems and procedures in different banks are in a different way. So it takes some time to really get along and have the proper convergence. Let me tell you that I have moved 3 banks: Union Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, now Central Bank of India. It takes me time to understand that what are the various nomenclatures which are being used in different banks for different activities. The banking remains the same. Banking is not much different, but what is different is the way you address the issues, the way you look at the processes, the way you use the nomenclatures. I think there are a couple of things which go in the issue with regard to the merger issues. I already told you about the customer perception. When I told you about the shareholder perception, there is a customer perception also, that every customer who is banking with a particular bank for decades, he has got certain relationships, certain perception, the values about his bank, and when he feels that, okay, after this, what will happen? Will I get the same respect? And it's very relevant in today's scenario when the customer has not remained a branch customer. In the core banking, all of you should know that a customer becomes a bank's customer. Anywhere in the country he moves to a particular bank, he expects the same kind of a treatment. And let me tell you, the banks have gone very advanced that wherever a customer goes to any branch of that particular bank, he gets recognized that he is a premier customer of a bank, because the technology supports you to do so. And thus he is used to of that kind of a treatment, and thus I think that also becomes an issue. I already discussed about the unification of work cultures. As I said that when we talk of consolidation now in today's scenario, I don't think that we are talking in terms of the rescue operations. We are certainly talking in terms of how can we synergize, how can we present few strong national banks who get reckoned in the global markets, as we say always that the 4 Chinese banks in the first 10 of the globe. I think there has to be a time when we say that there are few or 2 Indian banks who are within the first 10 or within first 25 like that. I think that has to be the efforts towards the consolidation. I think needless to say that we are going to emerge as a strong economy. The demographic dividends, the way GDP growth is happening, the way we have prepared ourselves for the growth, I don't think that the India growth story stops anywhere. I am very, very optimistic about it. I am very, very clear that we are going to emerge as a very strong economy, and thus I very strongly feel that probably to support that growth, we need to have the big size bank, the strong banks, and there where I feel that the consolidation should happen, but consolidation should happen between the 2 strongs and not out of distress. I think the ideal takeoff is it should be powered by the market drivers, and of course all the issues what I have discussed have to be addressed before you really take a call on consolidation. I think in the given time, I have tried to share with you in a question answer session whatever you feel I will be able to answer you. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to me. Thank you.